Harvey started out his career by covering artists like The Weeknd and Taylor Swift on his YouTube channel, but now his own music has had more TikTok videos created than the likes of Justin Bieber and Ariana Grande. And he has over 1 billion combined streams to his name. Harvey, it's so great to have you here and to be chatting to you. How are you?
Yeah, very good. Thank you for such a lovely intro. That was very nice. It makes me feel like a star.
I was going to say, how does that make you feel? Because I mean, how do you go from covering music to having your music covered?
Yeah, do you know what? Do you know what? That's one of the maddest things to see, especially on YouTube, because I've grown up covering other artists, and I still do. I love covering other people's songs and making it my own. But it's so weird to see other people covering my songs. It's just like it's such like a full circle feeling. And to say that I've got 1 billion streams is, I mean, do you know, I don't even think about it. It's only when people say you've got 1 billion streams, I'm like, do you know what? That's actually quite good. So I'm very lucky.
Well, is it good that you don't think about it? Because numbers is something that we can get quite addicted to.
100%. Do you know what? That's one thing that I'm quite happy about myself with, is that I'm not too numbers driven. I'm not too analytical in certain things. Obviously, sometimes you have to be, but I'll let all the professionals and those guys can do that stuff. And I just want to enjoy the moment and enjoy what I do and the creative side rather than the statistical side. Because like you said, that can get really, get quite heavy, and it kind of takes away the fun sometimes.
That's actually brilliant, because how do you stop yourself from doing that? Because I mean, you dropped Good Vibes there recently, absolutely loving it. But how do you stop yourself from going, has it hit the 100,000 mark yet? Has it,
Yeah.
what are we at now? Because we can't help it. We say we don't, but we all do it, Harvey.
Yeah, no, you know what? And I used to say I didn't, and I did. But genuinely, like I don't check how well, I put it out and I just hope for the best.
Yeah.
Every time. But I got a message this morning, and it's from my management, and the Good Vibes has outperformed in its first week my biggest song, which is Personal. So my Personal's had loads of streams and hits and stuff like that, but yeah, in the first week Good Vibes has beaten that, so that's always a good thing to see. And they send me all the percentages and stuff like that, and I never really open it because it starts with this is how Good Vibes is doing, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to open it. But because it opened with it's doing better than Personal, I was like, okay, I'll click it. Like,
I think it's doing better than Personal. Personal was great, but I think it's doing better than Personal because this is a song that we need right now.
Thank you.
And is it something like people have called it the perfect song for the forgotten summer, but ironically, this summer will never be forgotten, will it?
That's so true. I mean, it's weird to call it a summer because it hasn't been summer, because everyone's pretty much been stuck inside. And when I think of summer, I think of being with your mates, like, making the best memories. And I feel like we've all been living the same memory, like we're gonna have the same lasting memory of the 2020 summer, but I feel like the song Good Vibes, I feel like when I released it, I was like, I feel like everyone needs a bit of good vibes in life, and when I listen to it, I don't know, I'm a big fan of my own music because I create it, but some songs I'm like, yeah, that's all right, this song's all right, but this song in particular, I'm actually, do you know what? I would actually listen to that if it wasn't me, if that makes any sense.
Of course
it makes me feel good.
Yeah. How did you write such an upbeat song during a time where a lot of us have been flat?
Do you know what? During lockdown, it was really hard at the beginning of lockdown to even be any type of motivated because, I traveled the world, 27 different countries last year. And when I got to lockdown, everything just stopped, I wasn't doing anything. It was such a weird thing for me. So I really took the time to do nothing. And at first it was really hard because I didn't have a sleeping routine. I was waking up at like 1 PM, wasn't going to bed till like 5. I wasn't motivated.
Wow.
And it didn't feel very good. And a lot of my friends did the same thing. And then after that first quarter of lockdown, I was like, do you know what? I need a routine. I need to wake up. I need to actually set myself some tasks and some goals. I can't just sit and watch TV all day because it's boring and it's not good. So I started learning how to produce my own vocals on a software called Logic, because I've always been dependent on other people because I can be, but obviously you can't because you're on your own. So I started learning that, started trying to learn the piano. So I've been learning the piano, and then I started doing Zoom sessions and writing music, and my headspace was in a lot better place, and I was a lot happier, even though I'm always happy, but I was a lot happier than I was. And yeah, then we got Good Vibes, and I don't know, it felt good.
And you got good vibes working with MNEK and Matoma. How did you make that happen during lockdown? Was that just, were you on the million Zoom calls that we were all on?
Yeah, the Zoom calls and all that stuff. It's a lot of back and forth on the internet, basically. But they were so incredible to work with, and MNEK is so talented. And Matoma, I'm so happy to work with Matoma. You know, I've been a big fan of Matoma, and he's such a lovely person. It's really nice to work with nice people. You know, you can work with the most amazing artists, and they're not as nice, but it's just good to work with good people. So it makes the experience so much better.
And has one of the positives to come out of this, as well as working with great people, is that, you know, when, fingers crossed very soon, the world goes back to how we sort of knew it, that you're not going to, I suppose we've learned not to create limits on ourselves. So if you want to work with someone who is on the other side of the world in a different time zone, you can.
Do you know what? And that's one thing I've realized, you know, like I said, I traveled last year to 27 different countries and it was mental. And I've realized I can do a lot of what I did over Zoom. Obviously, it's never the same because it's so much better to immerse yourself in the culture and actually experience it. But to work with producers that are on different time zones, you know, that can't necessarily meet up tomorrow because they are literally 24 hours flight away. We can literally just hop on a Zoom call and do what we're doing now and write music and produce it. And we can, you know, it's not the same, but it's definitely doable. And it's definitely, I think music's going to change and how we record music. And you know, I'm up for it. I'm up for it. I can work with more people from around the world a lot easier.
You mentioned there you were in 27 different countries last year. What is the reality of a schedule like that?
No sleep. And not no sleep because I don't get given sleep. You know, my record label and management and the teams are so incredible and they make life so easy for me. They're amazing. But because of the jet lag, I just can't sleep. You know, I'll have the worst flight because it's so long, and then I get to the hotel room and I'm like, cool, ready to sleep, and I'm like, banging, I'm just awake because like I'm awake back at home. You know, so it's hard, but it's also so rewarding. I love being busy, and especially now more than ever, I appreciate it because I've been doing nothing at home for the last couple of months, and now obviously everything's going back to normal a little bit, so I'm a lot busier. But I definitely appreciate it a lot more now that we're stuck at home. So
you've seen that meme that's going around the internet. I think it's my favorite of this whole lockdown experience. The one going, I can't wait to walk down that aisle again. And that aisle being the airplane aisle.
Yes, it's literally me. I cannot wait.
What's that like for you, besides the whole traveling all over the world and stuff, but knowing that your music is being listened to outside of the UK? Like people and we're not even just talking about, you know, Ireland or Europe. We're talking Asia, Australia, America. Like, wow.
I wouldn't. It's, you know, like I said, I don't think about it until people say it. But I think one of the most amazing things is when I travel to these different countries and English is not necessarily their first speaking language, and they might not necessarily be able to speak English to me, but they will sing me top to bottom one of my songs in English, and they've learnt the song and they've learnt it just by how it sounds. And, you know, they say, I can't speak English, but I can sing your songs back to you. So it's almost like my music is a little bit of like a language, you know, and it's amazing. And like you said, it's very rewarding. And it's just, like you said, Asia and Australia and these places, it's mad to think that these people listen to my music, you know. So I'm very lucky.
Your music's not only being listened to, it's being played on TV shows like Love Island. How does that happen? And did you watch that episode? How did you feel watching that episode?
No, my family love Love Island, and it was we were watching it, and I did know it was going to come on because it's all to do with like sync stuff and whatever.
Yeah.
The label sort all that stuff out, so they're amazing, and it was very cool to have my song in the background. I had a lot of text from all my friends being like, "Yo, your song was just in the background of Love Island." I was like, "Yeah, there you go."
Do you know what? I love that you've had billions of streams of your music. You're like touring the world and stuff, and your parents and friends probably got more excited over that experience than everything else.
Oh, 100%. I could do the biggest radio station or the biggest interview of my life, or the biggest magazine, and they'd be like, "Yeah, that's cool." But as soon as you do with Love Island, it's like, "Oh my God, you're so amazing. It's Love Island." How incredible.
What is incredible is your new album. Can anybody hear me? A lot of people are hearing you. So why that song title, that album title?
Well, do you know what? I feel one of the songs on the album is called Can Anybody Hear Me? And I like the song because the message behind that is you're not alone. And a lot of my listeners are, are younger, and, they're going through their teens and they're going into their adulthood, and it's hard. And, there's so many stories that I've heard, and I'm like, how did you get through that? I have no idea. And this song is kind of like, we all get down, and we all kind of can feel the same sometimes. And it's a kind of song for the fans to listen to. And I just like the message behind it when I wrote it. So I wanted that to be the title for one. And also, I've been doing this since I was 13. And like you said, I'm now starting to be listened to. I mean, I've been listened to a billion times, but I feel like now more than ever, I'm like, you know what? Can anybody hear me? This is my time. I'm 21. Like, please give it a listen. And it's kind of like my little call out.
Yeah, well, we will be listening. And I love the fact that it's a bit of everything on your album. And you've mentioned that, there's some of your album has been influenced by the likes of NSYNC and, hold on a sec, Westlife. Like, how Westlife?
Well, do you know what? I would say, Westlife, but there's some ballads on there. So some like bit more, acoustic-y. I suppose you could say cheesy, but they're not cheesy. But you're not
stepping off stools, are you?
No, I definitely will not be stepping off any stools. Definitely, or key changing. Won't be doing any key changes. But no, there's some like kind of slower songs on there. There are some more up-tempo fun stuff like Good Vibes. There are some more kind of EDM droppy kind of electronic songs, I suppose, like with some more dance producers and stuff I like. So there's definitely an eclectic sounding album, and hopefully there's a song for everybody. And it kind of ranges between songs that I've released, at the beginning of my career, like 2 years ago, because I didn't want to forget about these songs on my debut album. Yeah. They're so important to me, and I didn't want to be like, they're forgotten. I wanted to kind of round up my kind of teen growing up in one little kind of bundle. So it's got some brand new songs that we basically wrote in lockdown and some older ones, and I put them together, and it's like my little growing up project, and there you go.
Well, I can't wait for that. And I also can't wait for All Going Well. You'll be here in April, the 5th of April at the Academy.
Yes, hopefully. We're touring next year. Got obviously moved from this year. So I'm hoping that it all goes well for next year, and I can tour around the world again, and we can add more dates. But I mean, we'll see. Hopefully.
Fingers crossed. Besides touring the world, what's the dream for you?
Dream is to be as happy as I can be and have a successful career and release music and tour the world and sell out arenas one day and have a #1 album somewhere. It could be in the smallest country ever, but if we've got a #1 album, I'll be happy.
I'm sure it's going to be all over the world. HRVY, such a pleasure to speak to you.
Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And it's been really nice speaking to you.